All right, let's dive into one of the biggest hurdles every single designer faces. How do you get that amazing idea that's bouncing around in your head out into the real world? We're going to look at how you can make your concepts so clear, so real, that anyone can see exactly what you're seeing. You know the feeling, right? You've got this incredible concept for a project. You can see it, you know it's going to work, but it's just stuck in there. Getting it out of your head and onto a piece of paper or a computer screen, well, that's a whole other story. And that's right there is the most important thing to get. Your ability to communicate your vision, that's your superpower as a designer. Honestly, it's way more important than knowing how to use any single piece of fancy software. Because if you can't communicate your idea clearly, even the most brilliant concept just stays an idea. Communication is what makes it real. So, where do we start? Well, first things first, you've got to learn to speak the language. Just like any other field, design has its own way of talking, and if you want to communicate like a pro, you need to be fluent.
Think about it this way. Learning design is kind of like learning a new language. You have to get comfortable with all the jargon, the special words for all the materials, tools, and processes. Whether you're talking about different kinds of wood, specific plastics, or how something gets made, using the right terms shows you really know your stuff.
Okay, so once you can talk the talk, you need the right tools to bring your ideas to life. Designers have always had a whole bunch of tools at their disposal. And even though they've changed like crazy over the years, their main job has pretty much stayed the same. I mean, just think about how far we've come. Hundreds of years ago, you were working with parchment and a quill. One mistake, and you could ruin the whole thing. But today, we've got incredibly powerful software that lets you draw with perfect accuracy, and best of all, you have an undo button. But here's the thing, whether you're using a pencil or a pixel, the goal is exactly the same. Show your idea to someone else. So how do we actually do that? How do we start making an idea visible? Well, it's a process. It's a journey that takes your idea from a simple, flat sketch and builds it up piece by piece until it becomes a real three-dimensional object you can actually pick up and hold. And a super important professional technique for this is something called orthographic drawing. Now, it sounds complicated, but it's really just a standard way to show an object from different sides, usually the top, the front, and the side view. This is absolutely essential for manufacturing because it's like a universal language. It takes all the guesswork out and gives a builder the exact info they need to make your design perfect. And this right here, this is basically the roadmap. You always start with rough sketches. Just get those ideas out fast. The goal here is quantity, not quality, so don't worry about making them pretty. Then, you take your best ideas and refine them into more detailed drawings. And finally, you build a physical model or a prototype. You're literally going from a what-if in your head to a here it is in your hand. Now, speaking of modern tools, you're going to hear the terms CAD and CAM all the time. They're a team, but they do totally different jobs. CAD stands for computer-aided design. That's the software you use to actually create the design on your computer. CAM is computer-aided manufacturing. That's the software that takes your beautiful CAD file and writes instructions for a machine, like a 3D printer, on exactly how to make it. So you design it with CAD and you make it with CAM. Simple as that. Okay, you've learned the language, you've got your tools, you've brought your idea into focus. Now for the moment of truth. You've got to present your polished concept to your client or your teacher or your team and get them on board. And you've got lots of options here. You can show them your sketches, your technical drawings, digital renders, but you know what's often the most powerful tool of all? A physical 3D model. There's just something about being able to see and touch a prototype that gives people so much more information about its size, its shape, and its feel than any picture on a screen ever could. And hey, when you are showing off those technical drawings, clarity is everything. So here are a few rules you've got to live by. Always include a scale so people know the size. Show all the dimensions someone would need to build it. Use the correct line styles, and this is a big one. Put your dimension lines outside the object so your drawing doesn't get all cluttered. Stick to these, and anyone will be able to read your blueprint. So, all these tools and techniques we've been talking about, they're changing all the time. Technology is pushing what's possible in design communication in some really, really cool ways. So, what's next? This quote just hits the nail on the head, and it's exactly why technologies like virtual reality are such a game changer. With VR, an architect can have their client literally walk around inside a building before a single brick has been laid. You get a true feeling for the space and scale. It's the digital version of holding that physical model, and it's an experience a flat drawing just can't compete with. So let's wrap this up with a final thought. The software you're learning today, It might be totally different in 10 years. The ways we present ideas will absolutely evolve, but the core challenge for you as a designer is never going to change. That next great idea is already kicking around in your head. The real question is, how are you going to share it with the world?